The void of space stretched endlessly. Silent, cold, and empty, across this darkness, countless alien scouts moved cautiously, their ships glinting under distant stars. Captain Darken of the Zereth Armada peered at the holographic readouts, a sense of unease gnawing at him. For centuries, humans had been spoken of only in whispers, as myths, legends, stories told to scare young cadets. They were said to be weak, unorganized, and simple compared to the great empires of the galaxy. But rumors had begun to spread of something impossible, something terrifying, a human fleet rising in power beyond imagination. Darken frowned as the sensors picked up a distant blip, faint but unmistakable. "Captain," said Lieutenant Zera, her voice shaking slightly, "we have a massive signature emerging from the Andron Rift." Darken leaned forward, his compound eyes narrowing. "Size? Armament? Speed?" "The readings. They are unprecedented, sir. It is like nothing in the galactic records," Zera replied. Voice barely audible, the Armada shifted. Thousands of ships in perfect formation, yet unease spread like a virus. The legends of humans had always seemed exaggerated, tales of bravery and ingenuity that no one truly believed. And yet now the impossible was before them. Emerging slowly from the darkness, a single human dreadnought appeared first, massive, sleek, and silent. Its hull reflected the starlight, yet there was something more, something that radiated power without sound or fire. The alien officers exchanged nervous glances, fear prickling at their scales, claws, and antennae. Darken's claws tightened on the command rail. "Prepare weapons, but be cautious. This is unlike anything we have faced." The human ship did not accelerate. It did not fire, yet every alien sensor screamed a warning. Shields fluctuated under invisible pressure. Communications grew unstable, and the air of dread thickened. Zera whispered, "Captain, it is controlling the space around it. It is not just a ship, it is a force." Then, without warning, more dreadnoughts emerged behind the first. 10, 20, hundreds more, the Zereth Armada gasped, unable to process the scale. The sheer number of human vessels appearing as if from nothing. Darken barked orders, "Form battle lines. Target the lead ship. Do not underestimate them." But hesitation had already spread through the fleet, fear infecting officers who had trained for centuries to fight. The human fleet advanced slowly, purposefully, filling the void with their massive presence. They did not need to fire to dominate. The aura of inevitability alone caused engines to falter. Weapons misfired, shields wavered, and a cold silence descended over the alien fleet. Darken could feel it, a creeping terror that clawed at his mind. A knowledge that these humans were beyond anything they had imagined. A small scouting vessel attempted to move ahead, hoping to identify a weakness, but it never returned. Its systems failing. Crew silenced, as if the human dreadnought had reached out and touched it without moving. The Armada shuddered, realizing that no ship was safe. No fleet formation would matter. The humans were not just in the skies. They commanded them, controlled them, dominated them before a single shot was fired. Zera gasped, "Captain, they are 10,000 dreadnoughts." 10,000. Darken's eyes widened, a cold realization settling in. "We have been fools. We thought humans were legends, myths, and yet here they are, more real and more terrifying than any story could describe." Every officer felt it, the truth sinking into their bones. This was not a battle they could win through strength or numbers. This was a fight against an idea, a force, a species that had transcended ordinary warfare. The first human dreadnought moved forward. Cutting a path through the darkness, its movement was silent, deliberate, a promise of control and precision. The Armada raised weapons, fired missiles and energy beams, but the attacks were harmless, diverted by some invisible power. The humans did not need to destroy, they simply demonstrated mastery, showing that resistance was already futile. Darken's mind raced, searching for any tactic, any strategy that could save even a few ships. But the humans had already proven their superiority, their scale, their terrifying control, and across the fleet horror spread like wildfire. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and now it would pay the price. The first glimpse of human power had arrived, and the legend was real. The alien Armada trembled in the void, their ships drifting slightly as a cold fear spread through the bridges. Captain Darken stared at the expanding human fleet, unable to comprehend the scale. 10,000 dreadnoughts filled the skies, glinting in the starlight, massive, precise, silent. "Captain," Lieutenant Zara whispered, voice trembling, "they are organizing, coordinating, like a single mind controls them all." Varkon's claws tightened on the command rail. "Impossible. How can a single species produce this many warships?" The Armada's communications crackled with fear, every officer murmuring, wondering if they had underestimated humans for centuries. The humans moved in perfect formation, each ship sliding into position as if invisible threads connected them. Not one ship was out of place, not one weapon idle, not one crew uncertain. The Zereth officers had faced thousands of fleets before, yet none had ever felt the creeping terror of inevitability. It was as if the humans were not just in space, they were space itself, bending the void to their will. Varkon barked orders, "Prepare all weapons. Target the lead ships. Focus fire on clusters." Missiles, lasers, and plasma beams streaked toward the nearest human ships. But the dreadnoughts adjusted effortlessly, shields bending attacks aside, energy fields neutralizing every strike. The Armada gasped as ships began to falter under some invisible pressure. Engines stalling, weapons failing, shields flickering. Lieutenant Zara pointed at the screen. "Captain, look. The humans are not just defending, they are disabling us one by one." Varkon's eyes widened. "They are controlling us without even firing a single destructive shot." Alien scouts had attempted to flank the fleet, move unseen, escape detection, but the humans anticipated every move. Drones and energy pulses intercepting, neutralizing, leaving ships drifting helplessly. The scale of the fleet was impossible to comprehend. 10,000 dreadnoughts stretching across the void. Each one massive, precise, coordinated with terrifying intelligence. Varkon realized that no tactic, no strategy, no fleet formation could match such an overwhelming force. The humans were not just strong, they were unstoppable. Their will shaping the battle before it even began. "Prepare for full engagement," shouted Varkon, trying to rally the scattered ships. But hesitation had already taken hold, fear infecting the minds of commanders and crews alike. Some tried desperate maneuvers, breaking formation to flank, to escape, to confuse. Yet the humans countered every move, their dreadnoughts flowing like water. Adapting instantly, anticipating every action, the first energy pulse swept through the alien fleet. Subtle but devastating, shields flickered, engines stuttered, and communications failed. No explosion, no noise. Yet ships were paralyzed. Drifting helplessly in space, Varkon's mind raced, trying to understand how one species could exert such control over thousands of vessels. Lieutenant Zira's voice trembled. "Captain, they are 10,000. They do not even need to fight. We cannot resist." Varkon nodded grimly, swallowing hard. "They are proving the truth of the legends. Humans are not myths. They are the ultimate force." Panic spread across the Armada like wildfire. Officers shouting, crews panicking, weapons failing. The humans did not need destruction. They demonstrated mastery, precision, and inevitability, and that alone was enough. The alien fleet tried a coordinated strike. All remaining firepower focused on the human center. Missiles streaked through space, energy beams lit up the void. But the dreadnoughts shifted, weaving seamlessly, neutralizing the attack without even firing a counterstrike. The Armada felt helpless, realizing they were not fighting ships, they were fighting an idea. A force beyond comprehension. Varkon's claws gripped the console, mind racing for a strategy that could survive. But even the bravest officers understood that resistance was futile. The humans were teaching them a lesson they could not ignore. One species, 10,000 dreadnoughts. Perfect coordination, control, and power beyond any imagination. The fleet shuddered as the humans advanced. Slowly, deliberately, every ship a symbol of supremacy. Every movement calculated, every strike anticipated. Varkon realized the terrible truth. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. And now, humanity had arrived, in numbers and power that no one could ignore. The first glimpse of the full human fleet filled the alien minds with awe and terror. 10,000 dreadnoughts. Silent, precise, unstoppable. The legends were true, and the galaxy would never forget this moment. The humans were no longer myths. They were the dominant force. And the battle for survival had only just begun. The Zereth Armada was in chaos, their ships drifting, many disabled, engines failing, weapons offline. Captain Darken stared at the massive human fleet, his mind racing with disbelief and fear. 10,000 dreadnoughts stretched across the void, perfectly organized, each one a symbol of unstoppable power. Lieutenant Zero reported frantically, "Captain, they are coordinating their attack with drones and energy fields. Our weapons are useless, our formations breaking apart." Darken's claws gripped the command rail. "Then we adapt. We must find a way." But how? Even as he said it, he knew that the humans were faster, smarter, and more prepared than any enemy they had ever faced. The human dreadnoughts advanced slowly, deliberately, filling the void with their massive presence. Their drones spread through the alien fleet like a living swarm, attaching to ships, siphoning energy, disabling weapons. Every attempt by the aliens to attack was neutralized. Every formation broken, every strategy countered. The Armada trembled as the humans demonstrated mastery over the battlefield itself. Darken barked orders desperately. "Concentrate fire. Target the human center. Do not let them advance." Missiles and energy beams streaked through space, lasers igniting the void. But the dreadnoughts moved as if anticipating every strike. Shields bending attacks, drones intercepting weapons. One by one, alien ships faltered. Engines dead, weapons offline, crews panicked. The humans did not just fight, they controlled the battlefield, shaping every moment. It was a war of intelligence, precision, and terror, far beyond anything the aliens had imagined. Darken's mind raced, searching for any advantage, any weakness, but there was none. The humans had anticipated, countered, and dominated every possible move. The Armada tried a desperate final strike, sending the fastest ships toward the human center. Lasers, missiles, plasma beams, all converged in a chaotic storm. The human dreadnoughts shifted effortlessly, energy fields bending fire harmlessly away, drones neutralizing every threat. The aliens realized their efforts were useless, their fleet collapsing under the silent command of a single species. Darken's voice shook as he shouted, "Do not give up. Fight for survival." But hope was gone, replaced by awe and terror. The humans had not fired a single destructive shot, yet they had disabled thousands of ships, controlled the battlefield, and broken the spirit of the Armada. It was more than power, it was intelligence, coordination, and perfect execution. From the shadows, the humans launched another wave of drones. Faster and smarter, they moved with precision, disabling the last functional alien ships, neutralizing weapons, shutting down engines. The fleet drifted helplessly, unable to act. And Darken realized the terrifying truth. The humans were not just fighters, they were the masters of war. Some alien commanders tried to escape, hoping to flee toward the outer rim. But invisible energy pulses slowed their ships. Drones intercepted, leaving them powerless. No path was safe, no strategy effective. The humans controlled space itself, bending it to their will, shaping every action before it even began. Darken understood then the lesson humanity was teaching. This was not just a battle, it was a demonstration of supremacy, intelligence, and inevitability. One species, 10,000 dreadnoughts, and complete control over the Armada. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and now they were learning the full cost of that mistake. The human dreadnoughts moved closer to the center, calm, precise, unstoppable, every ship a symbol of control, every movement calculated, every strike anticipated. Darken's mind raced for any possible solution. But even the bravest officers realized resistance was futile. The humans had shown their power, their intelligence, their ability to dominate. And across the fleet, horror spread like a shadow. The aliens could no longer fight. They could only witness. Helpless, the humans had arrived in full force. And the Armada had learned that myths were real, legends were true, and humanity was an unstoppable force. The first glimpse of ultimate human strategy filled every mind with awe and terror. The Zereth Armada was broken, not by destruction alone, but by precision, control, and intelligence. Darken realized the galaxy had changed forever, and that the humans were no longer to be underestimated. Their arrival marked a new age, and the battle was far from over. The Zereth Armada lay in ruins, many ships drifting helplessly, engines dead, weapons offline. Captain Darken stared at the vast human fleet, mind spinning with disbelief, fear, and awe. 10,000 dreadnoughts filled the void, silent, precise, unstoppable. They did not fire recklessly, they controlled, dominated, and disabled entire fleets without a single destructive shot. Lieutenant Zera whispered, trembling, "Captain, they are moving. Deliberately, like one mind controls them all." Varkon nodded slowly, swallowing hard. "We underestimated them. Humans are not myths. They are supreme." The alien officers felt it, a cold fear spreading through every scale, claw and antenna. The humans had shown that strength alone did not win wars. Intelligence, precision and coordination mattered more. From the shadows of space, the human dreadnoughts launched waves of glowing drones. They moved through the Armada with terrifying precision, attaching to ships, siphoning energy, disabling weapons and shields. No alien crew could fight back, no system could resist. The humans did not destroy needlessly. They demonstrated mastery, control, and inevitability. Varkon barked orders desperately. "Do not surrender. Focus fire. We must survive." Missiles streaked across space, energy beams ignited the void. But the dreadnoughts moved effortlessly, bending attacks away, neutralizing threats, controlling the battlefield one by one. Alien ships faltered, drifting helplessly, weapons offline, engines dead, crews paralyzed with fear. The Armada tried to retreat, hoping to regroup at the edges of the void. But invisible energy pulses slowed their ships. Drones intercepted every attempt. No path was safe, no maneuver effective. The humans controlled space itself, shaping every action before it even began. Varkon realized the truth. The humans had not just defeated them, they had reshaped the galaxy's rules of war. One species, 10,000 dreadnoughts, and complete mastery over the battlefield. The legends were true, the myths real, humans were unstoppable, and the galaxy had underestimated them for too long. The human fleet advanced, slow, deliberate, perfectly coordinated, every dreadnought a symbol of control, every movement a demonstration of intelligence. The Zereth commanders knew resistance was futile. They had been shown the limits of their strength, technology, and strategy. And the humans had proven that intelligence and coordination could overcome any odds. From the Armada flagship, Varkon stared at the human dreadnoughts approaching. A mixture of awe, terror, and acceptance filled his mind. He knew survival would not come through fighting, it would come through surrender, adaptation, and learning. The humans had arrived not merely to fight, they had arrived to dominate, to prove that the galaxy's legends about humanity were not exaggerations, but warnings. Across the fleet, the remaining alien ships powered down, submitting to the humans' control. Engines offline, weapons disabled, shields neutralized. The humans had proven their superiority without unnecessary destruction. The Armada was broken, not through brute force, but through precision, intelligence, and terrifying coordination. Varkon finally spoke, voice low. "We have seen their power. We have seen the truth. Humans are supreme." Lieutenant Zera nodded silently, eyes wide. "They are not myths. They are legends come to life." The human dreadnoughts moved away from the shattered fleet, leaving behind order where chaos had reigned. 10,000 ships, perfectly controlled, perfectly executed, unstoppable in their purpose. The galaxy had changed forever, and no one would ever forget this day. The humans had proven supremacy, intelligence, and strategy beyond imagination. They had shown the true meaning of fear, awe, and respect. The Zereth Armada had been defeated, not just in battle, but in spirit. The age of human power had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the rise of humanity. The dreadnoughts glinted faintly in the void, symbols of control, precision, and domination. The humans had arrived not as legends, not as myths, but as an unstoppable force, and the universe would remember this moment forever. The first glimpse of human supremacy had been revealed, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again.